Hi and welcome, chart artists. Why are we in a danger zone? Why should we be careful? We'll analyze the price of Bitcoin here together. Please smash up the like, hit subscribe for future notifications. We'll tackle market sentiment, go through a couple of altcoins. And here on BingX, you will see that I am currently in a small short position. If you've been following my previous video, I have gone through BingX. I've tested it out. One of my favorite exchanges that I use to trade on a daily basis. Why did I enter the short? How did I enter the short? Where do I plan to take profit? You'll see small little position that I'm playing over here. I am being quite a bit aggressive with this little portfolio. I deposited about $48, $47 a couple of weeks ago, and currently I'm standing at $164. So a small little account testing. It was to test out the exchange, see how they're doing. So far, I've had no problems at all. So go down in the description, sign up and come and trade with me. Let's first go through some market sentiment. Okay, from a news perspective, first things first. Despite the recent recovery, history still suggests Bitcoin won't be able to break beyond this macro diagonal resistance in the pre-halving period. So basically what they're saying is, if you look at the previous bull cycles before we had the halving, so there was a halving year during July 2016, May 2020 and April, and between April 24. And here you can see, connecting the highs with the recent highs that we've made, we've only started rallying a couple of months after the halving took place. And it's kind of what I'm seeing right now as well, is perhaps that insane bull run that everyone is expecting is not going to happen the day the halving starts. There could still be a potential pullback for a month or two before the actual rally starts. The question is, will this time be different? Okay, moving along. Also, history suggests Bitcoin won't be able to break its 4-year cycle resistance at $46,000 before the halving. That also coincides with what I want to go through with the Bitcoin charts with you, is to say that only after the halving kicks in, perhaps a month or two later, will we break this key resistance from a yearly perspective. Up next, okay, everyone calling for a little bit of a pullback. Here you can see from the bull run during 2015, 2016, we made a high, and we came and recovered. We made a 30% correction. We came up slightly, made a lower high, and then we made another 38% correction. Same thing during 2018, 2019, 30%, 54%. Will this time be different? Are we now in the process of making a lower high to get that ultimate pullback where 38% could take us to $30,000 and a 54% could take us as low as $22,000? Up next, some bullish sentiment here. The price can bounce towards the range low of the distribution zone. We can expect a higher low after that. Okay, so still expecting some upwards momentum connecting this distribution zone that you see over here. Are we still going to go up and make another all-time yearly high before we see the deeper correction? Or is that correction going to play out right now where we turn around without making a higher high to go down to $32,000 level, $37,000 level, or even that $24,000 level that I've just shown you? Okay. Going back, when I translate this back into the charts, you will see, okay, let's go on to the daily. And I just want to show something out of interest, is to say that when I go here onto the daily, purely from a fib extension perspective and a little bit of Elliott wave theory, is to say that, well, if this was a 1, 2, 3, and we're busy with a third wave to the upside, and I take a fib extension, okay, some people count this structure as a 1, 2, and then a flat ABC to the downside, then for the third wave to the upside. But let's, for argument's sake, take it from this pivot to the low where we are right now. You can see that we did not tap a common third wave target as yet. So there is still a possibility that we could go up here, still claiming this high to tap the 1.618 level for then a correction to the downside. Okay, so the possibility to come and claim this high before we see a deeper correction is still on the cards. For now, based on market structure, as I explained yesterday in my video update, it just has a lower probability. Looking at market structure, making a lower low, it does seem that we are going to make a lower high for continuation to the downside. Okay, let's go back to the news. Next up, inverted head and shoulders. Okay, so if I go back onto the price of Bitcoin here, right, let's take this out the way. Let's go back onto the 4-hour and just play out the scenario to say that, okay, I see the head and shoulders that everyone is talking about. Okay, cool. So potentially shoulder, inverted head and shoulder, shoulder, head, and we potentially already formed the right shoulder, or we still need to form the right shoulder for then continuation to the upside. A simple way to measure this move is I usually take a simple trend line. You take it from the neckline, you just drag it down to the bottom, and you say, well, that could potentially be the move that we can expect from an inverted head and shoulder, taking us all the way here to $47,600, even $48,000. Okay, still making a lower high. Up next, also following from our update yesterday, you can now advertise crypto on Google. Okay, yesterday was the first day, and now people can officially advertise on Google. Yeah, you can see Just In, BlackRock, and FunEck are now advertising spot Bitcoin ETFs on Google following a new policy update. Okay, very bullish for Bitcoin. Up next, let's look at a little bit of altcoin sentiment out there. Mark Cuban reaffirms his crypto investment, where he's basically bought a large bag of Polygon, which is Matic, and Injective Protocol. Okay, so also two of my favorite altcoins, two of many favorite altcoins in my bag, definitely Matic, Injective. Last up, Titan of Crypto writes, the ultimate outcome is near. After its breakout on the 38.2% Fibonacci level retracement, previously a resistance, is now acting as support, as can be seen over here. A breakout and currently acting as support for potentially more momentum to the upside. Massive gains will be made on alts in 2024, just a little bit more patience. Okay, let's get right into the price of Bitcoin and analyze the situation together. Okay, so far, BingX not doing too bad, $12 and $160, not bad profit for this trade. And let's analyze the price of Bitcoin and see, well, what can we expect over here? Okay, first things up, as per my update yesterday, just carrying on, this is like a little soapy. If you followed me yesterday, you will more or less know what I'm talking about today, so please go and catch up on my episodes. Looking at this structure, where yesterday I highlighted that, well, what if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we've made the fifth wave to the upside. Okay, switching on some of my analysis, you will then see we have finally hit the second point of control that I've highlighted. When you go and switch on your VRVP, it's going to the 4 hour, you will see that we have now officially hit this high volume node and currently getting a rejection. Okay, the reason I entered this trade over here, as you can see, I've entered here at around about 43,653, is we tapped the level for the first time and we got a rejection. And what you can also do is from this high, also a nice little SFP. Okay, we SFP'd from this high and also this high point, this high volume node, which I've got marked out as a major point of control. We SFP'd, we came back down, we started making some bullish CVD. So I was expecting another leg up for potentially claiming that high again, failing to break through for then a rejection to the downside. Okay, planning to take profit here, a little bit of profit here, maybe 20-30% profit, perhaps 40% profit at the major point of control where we can come back. And grab my pen, where we potentially are coming back for a retest for either continuation to the upside to build up the strength to come and break through, or a deeper correction for then continuation to the upside. Okay, so then I'm basically looking at a three-wave structure, which is an A, B, C, for then a turnaround, for then a deeper correction. Okay, let's take the brushes out. So this scenario so far has played out very nicely. So if this is indeed going back onto the 1 hour, let's switch off the VRVP, just zoom in here. So if this is indeed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside, I'm now anticipating a little bit of a deeper correction where we could now make an A, B, C correction to the downside. Okay, hence I want to leave some of the trade position open just in case for lower levels, but I will definitely take profit in case we move up. And you will see as well, position already protected. So it's a free trade at the moment. So what I'm looking at now is to say that, well, when I take a flip from the low to the high, where are possible bouncing areas? So I've got a momentum that I'm tracking here to the upside. So a couple of scenarios is that we could come down, SFP from this point of control, finding strength for then momentum to the upside. Okay. So looking at this structure, and we can just zoom in here a little bit. Let's go on to the 4 hour. A couple of scenarios that I'm watching here is to say that we are still all expecting, let's just put some of these levels off. Okay. Just clean it up a little bit. And the reason I'm saying be careful with longs is that we are still in danger territory. We have major resistance where we've rejected right now. Could we find support for momentum to the upside? So two scenarios that I'm keeping in mind is to say that we can either have a three-wave structure where we have a 1, 2, 3 to the upside, rejecting, making that lower high for then continuation to the downside, or we could still have impulses to the upside where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Okay, so very important how price reacts at each level. Right, the other scenario that I have covered in some of my other updates as well, but it hasn't played out yet, so I'm covering it here again, is to say that we still have this range low or high strategy. When I go into the 1 hour, Okay, let's zoom in here a little bit. We have not tapped this pivot as yet, ever so close, not tapped it as yet, is to say that, well, if we have to come back up and tap this level, perhaps reject for another acceptance back above this level, we are potentially coming to fill this entire area over here. So from a three-wave structure, what I would then like to see is to say that, well, perhaps it looks something like this, where we have a three-wave, one down, and then we reject here by this point of control. Okay, for then continuation to the downside. If it is a third, or if it is a 5 impulsive wave to the upside, we can expect slightly, we have to be bullish and bearish. At the moment, we have rejected, and the one thing that I am keeping in mind is we could potentially fall down from where we are right now to go to much lower levels. Okay, for now, what I'm seeing is it does look like we could be forming a 3-wave structure to the upside and also a 5-wave structure. So what would a 5-wave structure look like is to say that, well, it depends on how deep this retracement is. So taking a fib, let's take a normal fib from the low to the high. If this is indeed a 1, where we've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're making an ABC correction here to the downside, this could be the formation of a first wave for a third wave to the upside. Okay, and that could look something like, I take my fib extension from the low to the high, and we now have to guess where potentially the third wave can end. But a third wave common target is usually the 1.618. Okay, cool. So depending on how low we come down here, and this is potentially a 5-wave structure to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave loves the 1.618 target. That could potentially claim this high. So definitely keeping an eye always on bullish and bearish scenarios. We can't all just be bullish, and we can't all just be bearish. But from what I'm seeing right now is that we're either going to have that 3-wave structure or a 5 impulsive wave to the upside. So it's all about observing the price reaction at each level as we get there and how we react. Remember, you want to trade from a swing failure perspective, acceptance back below or above a level. Okay, we're not catching falling knives and climbing on rockets. You will get your account wrecked. Let's go look at some altcoins. First up, Ethereum. What is going on with Ethereum? Also, been tracking this momentum here to the downside, and now we finally broke out. My alarm went off. Unfortunately, I was not able to enter this trade. I was busy with other things. So we're either building up strength here to find more momentum here to the upside, or we're going to come and test this home line here again. But as it stands right now, Ethereum found support on this home line. Okay, when I zoom in here onto the 4-hour, just to show you, okay, we are still in this channel that I've got over here. Just zooming in here just to show everyone. The bottom of the channel tapped the top of the channel, came back down, failed to tap the top of the channel, and now as soon as we got to the top of the channel, we rejected and finding momentum here to the downside. Okay, then zooming into this little structure over here, you can now see I've been tracking this momentum. We broke out, failing to break through the point of control. So potentially a load up zone, anticipating that we will bounce definitely on this home line for more momentum to the upside. Okay, Dogecoin. We spoke about Doge. What is happening with Doge? Yesterday, I highlighted that we need to keep the support. We should not go back below the support and flip it into resistance. For now, a lot of fake outs here to the top, not managing to close a decent 1-hour or 4-hour candle above the trend line. That usually is a sign of strength. You want to see at least a 4 or 1-hour close above the trend to confirm continuation to the upside. So for now, just kissing this trend line, failing to break out, and now we're currently retesting the support. Right, last up, Bitcoin dominance. What is happening here with Bitcoin dominance? And it's the dominance that will give us the clue whether the altcoins are going to run or not, if this is indeed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 momentum to the downside, and we are now busy building the second leg. The second leg can still extend. When you take a fib from the top to the bottom, you extend it. The second leg has now pierced through the 382, almost at the 50%. From the 786 up until the 382 are common second wave targets. So potentially still momentum to the upside, even coming to reach a maximum second wave target for the 786, where we will then see a nice little inflow of money into the altcoins. But for now, dominance remains in Bitcoin's favor. If you'd like to trade with me, please go and click on this video for the best trading strategy for your long-term portfolio, where without knowing how to trade, it's a simple strategy that you can apply for your long-term portfolio. Until the next one, cheers for now.